So you can see here within Britannica schools there are three options. Initially, foundation, intermediate, advanced. And intermediate would cover probably from second, I would say, to fifth or sixth. And then foundation is juniors to first class. So you can see here immediately you can explore Britannica school. You can see here are some of the previous searches that I've done. But it also lands with kind of a loading page in the news, so there's suitable news relevant to the children here. They're advertising their new interactives, they're updating their sources all the time. You can see the background here is very stimulating, it's fun. And we could look at places, and let's take a look at countries. And let's look at countries in Asia. If you want to, you can also just search here instead. If I don't find something here, I'm going to look at South Korea. And I'm going to see what will come up for South Korea. So I'm going to click into South Korea, and you can see here this will bring up this section on South Korea. So you can look at the map. You can see the linked images. So this is not the map, that was the flag, and this is the map. So this is a map of South Korea, and you can see that it shares a border with North Korea, and the demilitarized zone is there between the two countries. And you can look obviously at the broader map. People might be able to recognize this is Japan, and then this is South Korea, and it neighbors close enough to China. The national anthem of South Korea, you can listen to that. So it really is a multi-sensory experience. The children can see what a busy street in Seoul might look like, compare it to the busiest street in Dublin. Immediately children might recognise that the characters on the posters are not the same as our alphabet, so that the people in South Korea speak a different language, and have different traditional dress and instruments and so on. Okay, and let's take a look at the quick facts. So the official name, year, the form of government. We look at the introduction. Okay, so what's wonderful about Britannica School is that you can play this, so it can be read aloud.
The Republic of Korea is a nation of East Asia. It is commonly called South Korea.
You can see here while that was reading, I clicked the Open Dyslexic button, which changes the font to this Open Dyslexic, which is perhaps more suitable and accessible for some of our learners. There was a new word there, peninsula. What's wonderful is that it can be highlighted, and it will show the syllabic breakdown of the word.
Peninsula.
But it can be a really nice way of children, I suppose, expanding their vocabulary. What's wonderful is that you can cite these sources, but it can be really good practice for children to get into when creating projects, that they're not just like, using the first page on Wikipedia, that they're using like multiple different sources that are reputable and that are... You can also increase the font, which makes it more accessible. And one of my favorite pieces, coming from a school with such a high rate of EAL, you can actually translate the text. So I'm going to translate it into Gaeilge. But there is a fairly good translation. I think it must use Google Translate, to be fair, because it's not entirely perfect either. But if you want to go back to the original text, you can click Show Original here at the side. What's also wonderful is that you can see here that 1, 2, 3 levels. So even for children in, second or third class, you can see how, and even fourth class, you can see how the text here and everything is a little more challenging than in the example before. And if we click the level 3, it's naturally differentiated there again, so it makes it a little more data. Perhaps there might be more sections here as well, so it is a really useful, and that actually has brought you automatically up to intermediate. So that's what I was going to do. If we click back to Britannica School in general, I'm going to open up intermediate now, just to take a look at that. And you can see here that this is immediately less kind of, I suppose, visually appealing. There's more kind of facts. There's some videos linked here. Compare countries and territories, World Atlas. There's actually a massive wealth of things that you can do with Britannica School. I'm just going to click quickly into advanced then to show you. I'm going to look up Bulgaria. Sorry. Just to see what it comes up with here. So you can see the flag. So this is already level 3 because it's advanced. If we click back down to level 1, level 1 is still advanced for Bulgaria, but there might be less information. Okay. So that is Skullnet. I would definitely recommend taking a look at Britannica School, and some of these other sources here. I think they can be really useful and fun for the children to access relevant material.